This is Season 7, Episode 132 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicerelli.
Well, hello once again and welcome to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast, episode number 132. My name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Hope you're having a great week so far, and we certainly want to thank you for letting us sit shotgun with you today. We have some really interesting segments for you. We just got back from our trip to Dallas to interview a bunch of people for season 7 of the podcast. And one of my favorite interviews was a gentleman who is our fleet safety manager. His name is Matthew Randolph, and we had a terrific time with our Stevens Spotlight. That is a segment where we get to know our fellow employees, our colleagues, our coworkers on a little more intimate level than we get to know them at work. So that is coming up a little bit later in the episode. We're also going to be telling you how Stevens Transport stepped in to help with the fires out in the Los Angeles area a couple of weeks ago. Very excited to tell you about that. And we're going to tip that big 10-gallon Stevens hat in appreciation for a job well done to our December Drivers of the Month. But first, we're going to shed some light on the integral role that brokerage offices play in the logistics ecosystem of Stevens Transport. Let's welcome back to the podcast the Director of Brokerage, Mr. Joey Morico, with our Stevens Roundtable. To our Stevens Roundtable, how about we get a chance to know somebody who really makes things happen here at Stevens Transport? We got the data to prove it, actually. Welcoming in a gentleman it's been a little bit since he's been on the show, but not too long. Our Brokerage Total Logistics Director, Mr. Joey Morico. What's up, Joey? Good to see you again.
Nice to see you, too.
Joey, when you were on the first time, if I remember correctly, so you were relatively new at Stevens. How many years you been here?
April will be 4 years.
4 years. All right. So that was running around season 2 or season 3, I think, and it's been a bit.
Yes.
But you've done some really cool things since you've been here. But before we dive into some of the accolades that your team or you have earned over the last year of 2024, talk a little bit about the brokerage offices and their functions to support the Stevens network.
So our brokerage offices, we have 8 total, 1 in Canada, 2 in Chicago, 1 in Salt Lake City, Dallas, Kentucky, and we also have a national division called 077. That is pretty much a remote office, I would say, because everybody in the office is remote.
Yeah.
We have a total of 5 brokers on that. So as a broker, our job is to pretty much backfill anything that company drivers cannot haul. So usually, we come into play and really help out come the holiday season, right?
Yeah.
A lot of drivers take time off. That obviously we still have to cover our contracted freight, help out our customers. So that's when the brokerage really comes into full play. Anytime there's a holiday season, that's when brokerage is really stepping up to pick up the freight.
So you're going out there and you're like, look, we got to make sure we get all of this freight delivered. And in case it exceeds the already robust driving force of Stevens Transport, you go out and find it and get it done.
Correct. That's what we do. Like I said, holiday season, just because it's a holiday and we have drivers taking time off, our customers...
And increased freight.
But our customers don't take any time off, and our customers need our freight, freight. So that's where we have to come in and, help out.
Huge. Now, go back to before we started recording here with this podcast today. Joey and I were catching up, and you're a humble guy, but I think you really need to tell everybody what you told us here in this podcast studio the increase that was developed over in just a couple of years that you had your hand on. Please don't be shy. And you know what? If you know Joe, he's not really shy anyway. But
No, not at all. When I came here at Stevens, load volume was around 26,000 loads a year.
26,000 loads a year. What year are we talking here again?
That was had to be what, 2021?
21. Okay. 26,000 loads
Total.
2021.
Yes. In 2024, we capped off at 45,000 loads.
Boom. How about that? Incredible. And so now when we talk about what you're doing as the director of Brokerage Total Logistics, there's been some hardware that's come your way.
Yes. So when I started here at Stevens Transport, I started the national division. The national division is the largest division in the brokerage network, volume-wise. And they were also one of the runner-ups of the Office of the Year.
Office of the Year.
Other than that, the other offices are still the same. They were here before I got here. They've just been able to take on more freight.
Yeah.
So we're pushing it. We only added national to the mix. Other than that, the legacy offices are still the same. Nothing's changed with them. Headcount's still the same. They're just putting out numbers.
And so what'd you win?
So the Office of the Year was Florida. And then the runner-up was national. And then the second runner-up was Canada. Those three offices have been the same since I got here. National was thrown into the mix. Before that, it was always Canada and Florida.
Yeah. Very good. So the hardware is in your office displayed for everybody to see when they walk in?
Oh, yeah. They're right on my desk.
Yeah, right. And you're just shining it. Hey,
oh, yeah.
Welcome to the office. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's great to see that type of success and feel like you're making a huge difference in this company alone. So you've been here, coming up on, 4 years?
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So what'd you do before you got here?
I've always been in logistics. I've been in logistics now for 20 years.
Why Stevens then? Why the jump?
I had an opportunity from a previous EVP that was here. I worked with him for a long time at Echo. And, he was always in my ear, hey, you got to come to Stevens. They got a big opportunity here. We really want to go to the brokerage arm. There's a lot of freight opportunities. So I interviewed, I came here, and
the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah. But you're just starting now. I mean, that trajectory's been set.
Yeah, we're just starting here.
Yeah, so and you never really think about that. I mean, I haven't. I've been doing this podcast now for 7 seasons, right? How we have all this amazing, robust driving force with our drivers and our independent contractor, our contractor division, our company drivers, and yet Stevens is so successful over 40 years in business that we still need to have someone like you go out and deliver the freight. And so that speaks volumes about a company like this as Stevens Transport. Did you know of Stevens Transport before you made the jump 4 years ago? I mean, is it something that
I knew who they were from being in the industry, but being at Stevens Transport, having an asset back the brokerage was new to me. I've only worked for sole brokerages. They don't have any assets. So having the asset piece it's like the backbone, right? Our drivers are the backbone of the company, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I used the analogy on the last podcast, our drivers are our front line, right? We're not going to move the ball down the field if we don't have a tough front line, right?
Now you're speaking a language I'm understanding.
Exactly.
Very good.
So with that backing us and us helping them out as well, it's a perfect partnership, right? Because again, we step in when they can't service, whether it's weather related, seasonality, no matter what it is, and we work as a partner. We need to backfill what they need to backfill, and ultimately it's all to service the customer.
And servicing the customer and you're backfilling, I mean, the standards are pretty high.
Yes.
I mean, these are not Stevens drivers.
No.
So how do you make sure that you maintain the integrity of what Stevens expects?
So all of our carriers that are in our network are all vetted. We also have a lot of automation now in place. So all of the carriers that sign up with Stevens Transport, we have to set up the parameters on what we expect, what our criteria is to haul our freight.
Yeah.
It then goes into the system, and then it will automatically accept or reject if they don't meet our criteria. So it's not like, we're hiring these independent contractors that, have shoddy equipment, bad safety ratings. We don't do any of that. The service has to be up to par. Their safety ratings have to be up to par. Insurance, everything has to match up. If it doesn't, they won't be accepted.
Yeah. And imagine there's a very low tolerance for those standards not being met once they're already on board.
Correct. Zero tolerance. Also, too, a carrier could be fine, and if they start having high safety scores, they go conditional. Then we have to turn them off.
Yeah, I got you. It's just maintaining the integrity of what's expected here at Stevens, and you're the man for the job. So always great to reconnect with you. Congratulations on those awesome numbers. I really appreciate you sharing that with our audience, because that just goes to show the immense value that your office brings to this company. Joey Morico, Director, Brokerage Total Logistics. Thanks for being with us, buddy.
Thank you, man.
All right, thank you, Joey. Hey, a quick side note regarding that interview with Joey Morico. One of his brokers, Grayson Logan, you know Grayson, he's a rising star at Stevens Transport, and we're going to have an interview with him coming up in a few short weeks. But while I was in Dallas last week, from what I understand, Grayson and Joey had a foot race. Now, for those of you that know Grayson and Joey, I think Joey might be a tad older than Grayson. Who do you think won that foot race? I know who won because I saw the video. Why don't you blow up Grayson and Joey's inbox and ask for that video to see who the winner was with that foot race in the parking lot there at Stevens Transport? Let's just say that the person who doesn't respond to you will probably be the one who lost the race. So, all right, coming up a little bit later, we're going to tip that big 10-gallon Stevens cap in appreciation for a job well done to our December drivers of the month. But we're going to tip that cap right now as well to ourselves. It's okay to give ourselves a humble brag, especially when it helps people. You know, I'm from Los Angeles, and the fires in LA a couple of weeks ago were incredibly devastating, and a lot of my friends and family had to evacuate. Thankfully, all of them still have their homes intact, but many, many don't. Well, a couple of weeks ago, a wildfire relief drive, one of the earliest to get organized to help survivors of the California blazes in Palisades, Altadena, and Pasadena, culminated at the Jesuit Dallas College Preparatory School, where dozens of volunteers loaded supplies into an 18-wheeler that headed west. The drive was organized in part by Jesuit graduate Jimmy Watson, a Dallas businessman born and raised in Preston Hollow. And who do you think that 18-wheeler belonged to? Of course, Stevens Transport, who provided a 53-foot trailer and a driver to transport things like backpacks, bottled water, lunchboxes, games, toys, scissors, batteries, thermometers, pain relievers, hygiene items, portable clocks, sunscreen, candles, soap, tool kits, sewing kits, pens and papers, children's books, socks and underwear, shampoo, razor, shaving cream, and toilet paper. All of those supplies headed west to Los Angeles in a relief effort for those affected by the wildfires. So again, Stevens Transport stepping up when the community needed the most. Okay, as promised, the December Drivers of the Month coming up, and we'll have our Stevens Spotlight. This will allow you to get to know one of our employees, our coworkers, our friends we see in the hallways and out on the yard on a more personal level. That is coming up right around the corner on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off-duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With two drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With two drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim, and thanks so much for letting me sit shotgun with you today. Hey, listen, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, download, or follow this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. This podcast can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Audible, Amazon Music, you name it. If it's a podcast platform, the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast is there. Please hit that follow, subscribe, and download button. It will help us to continue to bring you all the information you need to know what's going on at Stevens Transport. And for those of you who might be looking for a new career in transportation, and we hope this podcast will help you become familiar with the culture at Stevens, because we would love to have you become a part of our team. It's our Stevens Spotlight. Love this segment of the podcast because we get to know our friends, our colleagues, our coworkers, the people we pass by in the hallway, out on the yard, in the driver's lounge, a little bit better, a little bit more than the information we get from them about work when we're at work. And joining us now is a gentleman that at the time of this recording is relatively new to Stevens. He still has newbie across his chest here, right? And we're talking about Matthew Randolph. He is our fleet safety manager. And Matt, welcome to Stevens and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's going to be fun to be here.
I said Matt. You want to be called Matthew. Sorry about that.
I'll forgive you. Once.
We're not like that. It's Matthew right now. When we're buds, it's Matt Randolph. So that's what
we're building to that.
We're building, baby steps, Matt. Yeah. Matthew, sorry.
Yeah, we'll get past the handshakes, get to the hugs.
See, he's going to fit right in. Where were you before you came to Stevens?
So actually, I was working for Progressive Insurance Company for 2 years as a senior commercial specialist.
And so how did that catapult you into transportation logistics and Stevens Transport?
So I actually got my CDL originally in 2012, and I worked as a over-the-road driver, did training for over-the-road and dedicated. And then I went to working at a restaurant delivery company out of Terrell, Texas, where I moved into logistics. I was the yard supervisor there. And then I became a backing instructor at a CDL Academy. From there, I went to here at Stevens for the first time that I worked here as a backing range instructor and third-party examiner for the state of Texas.
So not so much a newbie
Nope.
now, really.
Newbie
This
for the
is
second time.
We're more like reunited, and it feels so. Sorry.
No, absolutely.
Stay in your lane, Cicerelli. Stop singing. All right, so it's your second time around.
Yeah. So I went back over the road for a while, and then I had to give up my CDL.
Yeah.
I had a birth defect in my heart that went bad.
Whoa.
And that's what translated me over to the insurance side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the director of training and development here, Andrew Wilkie, is a friend of mine. We've worked together before. And so he reached out and introduced me to Ken Resta and Jack McDonald. And so now I'm on the fleet safety team here.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
And birth defect that didn't go well. Fill us in. That's a little scary right now. I don't know CPR, man. So
no, I'm fine.
Everything's good.
Yeah, I had two heart surgeries in October of 23.
Wow, but you're good. You're feeling good. Everything's great.
Yeah. So what had happened is the pressure irregulation caused an embolism in my artery. So there's 3 inches of my artery that's now a synthetic sleeve. So it's basically carbon fiber. So I got a race car heart now, so I'm doing great.
Bionic Man is sitting here with us today.
Not quite $1 billion man, more like a $250,000 man.
That's all right. $250,000's nothing to sneeze at. Well, we're glad you're doing well.
Thank you.
Wow. What stories you have to tell.
Yeah, and I picked a non-stressful job to go along with it.
Yeah. Notice the sarcasm there. Well, we'll talk about your stressful job down the road. Probably, I'm thinking about having you back maybe in late February, because we want to talk about, spring season awareness and all that goes into that for our drivers and safety. So we'll talk about that later. But right now, we want to get to know you a little bit more. And I already feel like, all of your medical history and your work history as well. What do you like to do when you're not at Stevens Transport?
So I like to do puzzles and rebuild things.
Puzzles and rebuild things.
Yes, I like to find broken things and fix them.
How about that?
Yeah.
You should be a therapist.
No. People are a little bit more complicated. I like mechanical things because you know where the pieces fit, and people are a little bit more complicated than that. The edges are soft.
They are. Yeah. You need it's tactical. You got to touch it. Yeah. So puzzles and things that need. So give me an example outside of a puzzle.
Vehicles and guns primarily. Yeah. So I do a lot of gunsmithing. But I also like to just buy older vehicles and fix them up.
And then sell them?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Wow, man, I got a whole slew of things you can come to my house and fix, because that is not my skill set at all. All right, so you spend your time on the weekends rummaging through eBay and garage sales and car lots and
random finds.
Yeah.
Just random finds. Don't put a whole lot of effort into it. I'm also a single dad, so that's where a lot of my time goes.
Sure.
So what little free time I have, if I happen to find something, then I'll go for it then. But I don't really put a lot of effort into searching for it.
You put your effort into your kids. How many kids do you have?
Yeah, one. She's about to finish driver's ed right now. So I'm actually
talking about stress.
I'm gonna bring her up here, make her sit the orientation. VT,
there you go.
Classes.
Yeah. I hope you're not joking. That's actually an amazing idea.
That's a sincere thought. Like I want to bring her up here and actually have her, because a lot of drivers, when they go through regular driver's ed, they don't learn the things that professional drivers learn. And they don't learn how to be around professional drivers. So they get nervous, and I don't want her to be nervous out there.
You got to be confident, and you should get a break on your insurance, car insurance for that type of training as well. People over at Progressive, you can make things happen, I'm sure.
Yeah.
that is really, really cool. How do you like to spend time with your daughter? What do y'all do?
So she actually right now is learning video editing and audio editing, because her and her friends want to start making video projects together.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have some work for her.
Right.
I'm being serious. Actually.
I know a guy.
You know a guy now. Can I call you Matt now that we're there?
Yeah,
okay, good.
Now we're there.
All right, we're already hit that part. Well, we're going to go a little bit deeper too, Matt. Okay. This is going to be a little silly, something we like to have some fun with. Ooh. This is here at the time of this recording, it's 2025, the 45th anniversary of Stevens Transport being in business, which is remarkable. Mm-hmm. So we like to commemorate that by giving you approximately 45 seconds to answer as many random questions as possible. And if you're entertaining, we might give you more than 45 seconds on that. So
got it.
No pressure. So you ready for this?
Yes.
Let the clock start now. If you were a contestant on a game show, which one would you dominate?
Ooh, whose line is it anyway?
Oh, you're an improv guy.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Love that show.
Yeah, improv, that's a skill set.
Theater kid.
Theater. You a theater kid as well?
Theater kid, yeah.
What's the weirdest food combination you love, but others might think it's a little gross or strange?
Pickles on pepperoni pizza.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It shouldn't be good. It should.
No, but I'll bet it is.
Yeah, it's disturbing that I enjoy it.
Pickles on pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
What's the most ridiculous fear you had as a kid?
Oh, Snuggles the bear from the laundry commercials. I had nightmares about that. Absolute terrifying nightmares. So I watched Child's Play. Chucky didn't bother me at all.
But Snuggles the bear.
Snuggles, he has very soulless eyes. At least Chucky had emotion. Snuggles the laundry bear, terrifying. Yeah, nightmares up until I was like 13, 14 years old.
Hilarious. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that might be the best answer ever for that question. Now. All right, Snuggles the bear. Let's keep him away from Mr. Matt over here. What's one weird talent or party trick that might surprise people that you have or can do?
Ooh, I don't know if I can still do it, but I practiced being able to do my ABCs backwards. Yeah.
They ask you to do that when you're,
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just if you could have dinner with a fictional character, who would it be and why?
Frankenfurter. Frankenfurter. I'd love to have dinner with Frankenfurter.
Why?
A great time. There's no way he doesn't host a great party.
That's true.
Yeah. We don't have to eat meatloaf, but it would be a great.
What about toast? Do you throw toast at is that the scene?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'd have toast for dinner with you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Got it. If you had to sing karaoke in front of everybody here at Stevens, which song would it be?
Oh, that might be the new fear. Forget Snuggles. That would be absolutely terrifying. But if I had to try and put my heart and soul into something, anything by Meatloaf, possibly Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, is a great one.
Yeah, that is. Wow, that's very theater.
Yeah,
that's a story song. It's Meatloaf. Yeah,
that's why he was great.
Yes,
every performance that he put on was just an absolute show. That's why his songs are 7 minutes long.
That's true.
Yeah,
they're story songs. And by the way, that's 2 Meatloaf references in one interview. That's a record we've set here.
I am a fan.
With Matt Randolph, our fleet safety manager. Looking forward to having you back, talk about some serious stuff. And that'll be spring season awareness. And I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes. Buddy, good to see you. Good to meet you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Always enjoy that segment. Well, we tipped that big 10-gallon Stevens Cap and Appreciation earlier in the episode, but let's do it again, shall we? Time to announce our December Drivers of the Month, our drivers who have gone above and beyond. Time to acknowledge their efforts and their hard work. And I'm going to ask for your forgiveness up front in the event that I do mispronounce somebody's name. I don't mean any disrespect, but we'll do the best we can. How about we tip our cap to Robert Bob Velm, dedicated runner-up. Roberto Santana, our dedicated winner of the month. Our trainer runner-up of the month is Gioff Gus Hayek. Our trainer of the month is Gerald Roden. Owner-operator of the month is Kirk Smith. Team each, Roderick Butler and Octavia Hillsman. Our new driver runner-up of the month is Daniel Bruce, and our new driver of the month is Jan So. Independent contractor runner-up goes to Kyle Allen, and our independent contractor of the month is Kelvin K.J. Johnson. Our company driver runner-up is Stephen Hoy, and our company driver of the month is Kim Jem Ursoy. Congratulations to all of our drivers of the month. Way to go. Pump the brakes. This one is over. Episode 132 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. Please remember to follow, subscribe, like, download, and share this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Audible, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. We are everywhere, and we would certainly appreciate it if you were to share this with someone else inside the industry so they too can learn about how awesome it is to work at Stevens Transport. My name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim, and until next time, please be safe out there, and thank you so much for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.